Dear students, good evening. I hope you had a wonderful day. So in today's class, I'll quickly revise the formulae of the 3D figures that we have done in the last class, specifically the cylinder and the cuboid, and then we'll start with the questions based on this cylinder and cuboidal questions. So as we know, as we did in the last class, volume of cylinder is area of base into the height. So this is valid for any three-dimensional figure. So area of base is what? Area of base, the base is the circle here. So and we know that area of a circle with the radius r is pi r square and height of the cylinder is h. So volume of cylinder become pi r square h. So that becomes very easy for us to remember the formula because it's a very weak point of the students to remember the formula. So we can just always remember that volume is always area of base into the height. So that will give you quickly give you the answer, the formula for the volume of cylinder. Okay, then next moving on to the volume of the cuboid, it's similar. Volume of the cuboid will be, as I said earlier, volume of cuboid, volume of any three-dimensional figure will be area of base into the height. So base is what? Area of base is base is L into B and height is h. So that gives me L into B into h. Okay, one thing we need to take care of is the units in the questions have to be uniformly taken. That is, for example, the length is in centimeter, breadth is in meter, and height is in meter. We have to convert it into all into the same. Maybe convert meter into centimeter or centimeter into meter. That is a very important point that we need to take care, because if you're not doing that, your calculations will be invalid and your marks will be cut. So this is one thing you need to take care of. Similarly, here in cylinder, units of R and H, if they are given differently, you have to convert it into the same units. Okay. And third thing, you have to be very careful about the value of pi. If the value of pi is not specified, you can take any value. But if in the question value of pi is specified as 22/7 or 3.14, you have to move accordingly, because answer is derived and answer is given to the examiners accordingly. So you have to be very careful about the questions with the specified value. Okay, so let us move on with the question, which is based on the cylinder and a cuboidal question. So the question, I read out the question for you. Selvi's house has an overhead tank in the shape of a cylinder. This is filled by pumping water from a sump. Sump is an underground tank, which is in the shape of a cuboid. The sump has dimensions 1.57 meter cross 1.44 meter cross 0.95 meter. So sump is a cuboid which has dimension length, breadth, height. Okay. The overhead tank has its radius of 60 centimeter and height 95 centimeter. So tank is cylinder, radius and heights are specified. You have to find the height of the water left in the sump after the overhead tank has been completely filled with water from the sump, which had been full initially. Compare the capacity of the tank with that of the sump. Okay, so you have to be very careful. This value of pi is mentioned to us. So I'll quickly make the diagram for you. So here is the sump. So sump is in the form of a cuboid. So this is a cuboid. This is a rough diagram. So rough diagrams always help you to visualize what is happening and what is required and how you can proceed with the calculation. So in overhead tank in the shape of a cylinder, the dimension of the cylinder are 95 centimeter and radius is given to be 60 centimeter. If you notice here, dimensions of cuboid and cylinder are different. So what we'll do, we'll try to convert centimeter into meter. So this is 1.57 meter, 1.44 meter, and this is 0.95 meter. You can convert meter into centimeter also, that is not an issue. And be careful, use pi equals 3.14. Now the question is, the water is being shifted from the sump to the cylinder and the cylinder is full and some water in sump is still left. So we have to find what height of the water is still left in the sump. So if you read out the last sentence, find the height of the water left in the sump. That means there is an extra water in sump more than the volume of the cylinder. So left in the sump after the overhead tank has been completely filled with water from the sump which had been full. So this will be the picture. So there is some water left in the sump and we have to find what height of water is left in the sump after the volume of water is transferred. Okay, so we will first proceed to find the volume of the cylinder, and then we'll find volume of the sump, and then we'll find volume of the water left in the sump. Okay, so these are the 3 steps that we'll follow, and then we'll find the height of the water. So these are the few steps that we'll follow. So I'll start with the solution. Solution is like the very first step, as I said, volume of water in the sump when water is full. So we'll find the volume of water in the sump first. So volume of water in the sump when water is full, when it is full of water. Okay, so that is what cuboid LBH, 1.57 meter into 144 meter into 0.95 meter. So meter cube is the unit. Units, writing units are very, very important. Okay, and then I will find the volume of water in the cylinder. So volume of water in the cylinder. That will be the volume of the cylinder because I am completely filling the cylinder with the water, and therefore volume of water filled in the cylinder will take the shape of the cylinder. So volume of cylinder, that will be pi r square h. And please take care that units have to be converted. So what I have done, I have converted 60 centimeter into 0.6 meter, and I have converted 95 centimeter as 0.95 meter. Okay, so this is square. Okay, you have to be careful about each and everything because this is a question based fully on calculation. And value of pi as specified, it has to be 3.14. So 3.14 into 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.95 meter cube. So this gives us half of the picture, volume of water in the sump when water is full, and volume of water in the cylinder. So our next step becomes, we have to find volume of when once the water is transferred from the sump to the cylinder, we have to, there is some water remaining. So what will be that water remaining? That will be volume of the sump minus volume of the water in cylinder. So let's move on to the next step. So volume of water left in the sump. So volume of water left in the sump will be volume of water in sump, complete volume, minus volume of cylinder. Notice that I am not doing the calculation right at each and every step, because when we do the calculation at each and every step, we are bound to make mistake. And I know that this is a question which is taking calculations to the last step. So what I'll do, I'll try to take the calculation to the last step as it is and try to cut short my calculation by cancelling or by taking common, something like that. So that always helps. So I will just quickly minus it off. So that gives me volume of sump is 1.57 into 1.44 into 0.95, that is volume of the sump, minus 3.14 into 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.95 meter cube. So unit is meter cube. Now if you notice, instead of multiplying, what I can do, I can try to make connections. So this is 0.6 into 0.6 is 0.36 and 1.44 is 0.36 into 4. So I'll try to write that. So I have just done 1.44 written as this expanded form, and 0.66 I am writing it as 0.36 into 0.95. I'm writing in different colors so that you understand what I'm doing. So this is written as this. Okay. So now 3.14 can also be written as 1.57 into 2. Okay, so what I will do, I will erase 3.14 and I will write it as 1.57 into 2. So this has been written as 1.57 into 2. So now this will help me to take out common and make my calculation simple. So I'll take out 1.57 can be taken out common, 0.36 can be taken out common, 0.95 and 2 can be taken out common, and in bracket I'm left with 2 minus 1 meter cube. So without using calculator, without using multiplications, I have just got the answer. So 1.57 into 0.36 into 0.95 into 2 meter cube, sorry, into 2, yes, into 2 meter cube. So that will again give me 1.7 into 2 is 3.14. So I deliberately picked up this question because this question was full of calculations, and easy questions you can do, I know, but questions full of calculations are very important to understand how to make that simple for you. Because once if you start doing the calculation here itself and at the step, you will get a very bulky number and you'll be confused how to at multiplication you can make mistake, and at subtraction also you can make mistake. So it is always advised that you can make something common and something you can do that, so that you get a very simple answer. So see, I've got a simple answer. So that is the volume of water left in the sump. And that was quite interesting too. So volume of water left in the sump. Okay, so now volume of water left in the sump. So what that height we have to find. Okay, so looking at the question, this height we need to find. Base and height are the same. Okay, so base is what? 1.57 and width is 0 with this 1.44. Okay, so 1.57, sorry, this was 1.44, and width, it is length, breadth and height. So 0.98 is the height. Okay, so this is length, breadth and height. Height we have to find. This is let height be the height of the water. So that is equal to 3.14 into 0.36 into 0.95. So length and breadth I will use as 1.57 into 1.44 into h equals 3.14 into 0.36 into 0.95, and that gives me 1.57 into 2, and as done above, 1.44 is 0.36. So that was easy, that will become easy for us. So 0.36 into 4 into h. So here again into 0.36 into 0.95. So that helps us in calculation. So 1.57 goes off. 0.36 goes off, and my height becomes 0.95 divided by 4. Okay, so height becomes 0.95 divided by 4. So I'll quickly divide. 4 2s are 8, 15, 3s are 12, 3. So okay, let me see. It is we are going. Okay, it is 0. Yeah, I missed out something. It is 0.95 into 2 and then divided by 4. So we have to, yes, that gives us a lesson that whenever we are turning pages in the exams also, so we have to be careful in doing the calculation. So whenever we are copying from one page to another, we have to be very careful in copying the digits. See how I made a mistake. So it is like this. So like this, and then we'll divide it by 2. So let me do it again. So 95 divided by 2, so it will be 47.5. So if I'm not wrong, this is 47.5 meters. So this is how we get the height. So 47.5 meter. So point is there, so it has to be 0.475. Yes, it is 0.475. Okay, 47.5. So point is there, so 0.475. Okay. So this is how we get the height. And then if we read the question, we can, moving back to the question, it is given that compare the capacity of the tank with that of the sump. So capacity of the tank, complete capacity of the tank with that of the sump. So volume of tank upon volume of sump. So tank is to sump is required. So we'll write tank is to sump. So moving back, it is volume of water in the cylinder. It is, so we just need the ratio of 1 and 2. So 2:1 is required. So this will be 3.14 into 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.95. So 3.14 into 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.95, and volume of sump is 1.57 into 1.44 into 0.95. Okay, 0.95, 0.95 cancels. 3.14 is again, we'll try to convert 1.57 into 2, 0.36, and below it is 1.57 and 1.44. If you remember, we converted 1.44 here on the previous page. We converted 1.44 as 0.36 into 4. So this will be 0.36 into 4. So see how converting and trying to simplifying it without multiplying can give us answer in a simple manner. So the ratio becomes 1:2. So, and we have to be careful about few things which I'll repeat again, which we have noticed while doing the question. First, units have to be uniform throughout. Second, pi has to be whatever specified, because calci pi had we be taken at 22/7, we wouldn't have got the answer so easily. So 3.14 and 1.57, there's a connection. So therefore they gave us 3.14. Okay. So second thing was being careful about the value of the pi. Then while doing the calculation, avoid doing multiplication till the end. Try to simplify it by cancelling. So once we equate, we cancel it, and we have taken here common. And yes, one thing which even we learn from here is when moving from one page to another, we have to be very careful in transferring the data. So when you copy the numbers, you have to be very careful. And then volume of tank is to volume of sump was required, not volume of sump, because few students, while we check, they don't understand that what is to be taken above and what is to be taken below. So, or first or second. So volume of that is given in the language of the question. So language of the question is compare the capacity of the tank with that of the sump. So tank will come first, sump will come later. Okay, so tank will come first, sump will come later. So the ratio becomes, answer has to be given in the form of ratio 1:2. So that is the answer, and that was all for tonight. So thank you, and I request you to kindly complete the assignment, and I'll see you tomorrow same time. Till then, good night.